Good morning, everyone. Will you please welcome, put your hands together for Twin Soul Poets. Here they are.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is such a blessing to be here. Sharing this morning, I am Hamilton Graziano.
And I'm Ingrid Ali, and I think I have strawberries in my teeth, so if I do, let me know.
Some also. We are Twin Soul Poets, collectively. We are very excited to be here sharing this morning. I just drove in from Richmond, Virginia, which is our hometown, last night. We live here in Atlanta, but I went up there because this past week they were having the national poetry competition for the collegiate university, about 60 colleges from all around the country. The event was hosted at VCU this year, and I helped to found the team there, so it was like really cool for me to go home and see this amazing national competition. They finished second in the nation for the second year in a row, so yeah, forward to that. Feel very proud of them. But to honor them, I'm gonna lead everyone through our warm-up that we do in competition. Anytime we have like poetry event together as a team, we do this warm-up where to make sure everybody's feeling right, the energy is good in the room, and to wake us up a little bit, and I kind of need this too. So if you guys would humor me and stand up, give yourselves a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, you're gonna need some arm space. We're gonna move a little bit. Okay. And there is a chant that goes with this, and we're gonna say it together, and it's gonna have some movement, and it's gonna build and get louder every time. Okay, so we'll start with your right hand out, and it goes like this. Ooh, I feel so good like I knew I would. Ooh, I feel so good. Okay? I'm gonna just do it again. Ooh, I feel so good like I knew I would. Ooh, I feel so good. And that's it, okay? And it's gonna build every time.
This is the late
And-
show. It's
yeah.
crazy.
We'll get it together. We'll get it together. Okay? So we'll start with that right hand again. Everybody this time. Ooh, I feel so good like I knew I would. Ooh, I feel so good. Now left hand. Ooh, I feel so good like I knew I would. Ooh, I feel so good. Put your right foot in. Ooh, I feel so good like I knew I would. Ooh, I feel so good. Now go crazy. Ooh, I feel so good like I knew I would. Ooh, I feel so good. All right, thank you. I think we're ready now. Thank you. You got to sit. Okay. Thank you guys for humoring me on that. It's funny how when we start dancing and singing about how ooh we feel so good, you start to feel kind of good, you know what I mean? So that's food for thought there. I invite you guys to be an active audience today. If you've never been to a poetry event or anything, sometimes the audience can be pretty raucous, and that's welcome. I want you guys feel free to feel free. If anything you hear moves you in any kind of way, I would love to receive your oohs and your mms and mm-hms and anything. Some people do the snapping thing, you know. Feel free to feel free, please. We're not watching a movie or anything. So this is an energetic exchange going on, and yes, I'd love to feel that warmth. I've already been feeling it this morning, so I feel good. Freedom stares us in the face on the edge of what feels safe. One step of surrender and we could forever leave this place to free fall. Free fall, we fall over and over because we have agreed that such is the human condition. Subscribe to this original sin and believe that his bars keep us caged in to miss the mark again and again, punishing ourselves worse and worse every time, pleading for some divine to save us from drowning in this knee-high water. If we could just stop kneeling and stand up to see, to breathe. There is divinity in each inspiration. We are all manifestors of our own creation. It is this responsibility that we fear. So we quickly hand away our own power to God or Jesus or whoever might be near, forgetting that his name means I am. So say it with me. I am good.
I am good.
All the time.
All the time.
And all the time I am good.
And all the time I am good.
Who are you? Who are you? However you answer, you will make it true. You choose. Maybe it feels safer to allow someone else to make your decisions, to act out a script that has already been written, but there will be a time when truth must reveal what is hidden. So step to the mirror, face to face with self, on the edge of what feels safe. Ask yourself, does it feel safe to claim his name? Say it loud and surrender to truth reflected. I am perfection. Observing. I am perfection. Y'all are so willing to go with this. I love it. I am perfection. Observing itself. Will you believe or be live? Be. For now is the address at which eternity resides, so you decide. How will you define I am?
Hamilton Graziano, and he has books out there in the lobby as well. His poetry books are available today. Please welcome Ingrid Ali his wonderful partner, Ingrid.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I am so happy to be here. I feel good. I feel the energy moving. So this is a new piece. I had the privilege of sharing it for the first time this morning, and I'm going to do it again. And I think all of us here in this room could probably appreciate the power of embodying that which you wish to create. So in addition to being a poet, I'm also an actor, and that is something that's a deep love of mine. So as I was coming up with my next poem, I thought, if I'm going to embody being an actor, what would it be like to accept my Academy Award? What would that feeling be? So in that light, I'd like to share this with you. I'd like to thank the Academy so much for the honor and privilege of this award. And to all the people who helped me along the way, who gave me confidence when I was doubting myself, who reminded me of who I really am, and that I had a place in this industry and in this art. You know who you are, and I thank you. But I'd like to dedicate this poem to all of the artists, and this speech to them. The starving artist is an old paradigm. It is an archetype created and perpetuated by those who are too afraid to believe that their art will sustain them. I do not condemn these people, because I was once one of them. Rather, I invite them to consider that the starving artist is simply one who is hungry for expression, and that it may be their own unwillingness to share that keeps them in poverty. If you feed others with your gifts, you will never starve. Like Langston Hughes' dream deferred, unshared talents fester and ooze on the insides of the creatively repressed. Their loyal bodies try to alert them with stress, anxiety, fear, depression, and anger, which are all actually the side effects of attempting to hold back their own brilliance. Their minds have become overgrown with the contemptuous weeds of self-doubt that they are waiting for someone else to pick for them, or that they blame other people for planting, when it was actually their own hands that neglected their garden. Do not be afraid of the plentitude of fat tears you will cry for your previous ignorance, because the only difference between a desert and an Eden is a little bit of water. So many of us were discouraged when, after daring to share our creative visions with the world, we were then asked about our backup plans and what our real jobs were. But you see, even though society often seems to disregard the value of the artist, inherently, we humans know that it is those who create who will ultimately define the legacy of who we are. When we look back into our history, it is the cave drawings, the architecture, the fashion, the poems, the songs, the stories, the photos, and the films that we preserve in our attempt to understand where we have come from and the possibilities of where we might go in the future. We even build museums to honor the creations of the artists. Whenever you walk into a building, you are literally standing inside someone else's idea. One of the best ways to understand someone else's perspective is to look at the art that they have created. If several artists painted the exact same person at the exact same time, each portrait will be colored by the distinctions and experiences of the lives of each painter. Singers offer more than just songs, but their elongated intonations reverberate inside the bodies and minds of the listener. It is not a coincidence that there are 7 notes on a musical scale and 7 chakras inside of our bodies. Actors are healers, offering an unapologetic view of humanity, daring to be the vessels of the heights and depths of human emotion that most of us avoid at all costs. They hold up a mirror to the face of humanity, giving us glimpses of our wholeness, of our reflection, and a catharsis that need only be earned by watching them perform. The truth is, we are all artists, painting the landscapes of our lives with our perspectives. We choose our enemies and our allies, our stagnation and our actions, our limitations and our possibilities. For every artist who is starving, there is another who is thriving. Both of these realities dwell inside each and every one of us. This world does not need any more starving people. The greatest measure of success is the amount of joy you are living with. So dare to be authentic and courageous, because the world needs you and your gifts. The world needs you and your gifts. The world needs you and your gifts. Thank you.
Ingrid Ali. Oh, what a wonderful morning. Good morning. I am grateful. Grateful for the same, for the love we share, the life we make. I give thanks for, yes we do, all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful. Grateful for the same, for the love we share, the life we make. I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, so grateful for the same, for the love we share, the life we make. I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for the same, for the love we share, the life we make. And I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here.
Good morning, everybody. You may be seated. It is a powerful day that's happening here at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, so we are going to get down to business. So I just want to remind you, next week, Easter, a fabulous, incredible day. We invite you to bring your friends and your neighbors and people you don't know, just drag them off the street. And we are encouraging you also to consider first service. We're going to have amazing events out there. There's a tent there's going to be tables represented by the practitioners, by the choir, and the creative arts department, by our teen, by Kinetic Ascent, all of the varying groups that make up our amazing community. They're all going to have tables and things to nibble on and a place for you to be able to mingle and gather to get to know one another better. So it's a wonderful day to come and to be a part of that, and we want to spread you out as much as possible. So if you are willing to come to first service, that would be awesome. Here to tell you more is Mr. Resurrection himself, David Aurelio.
I'm going to roll back the stone.
Here he is.
You did my announcements. I'm just doing the talk.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you did the announcements. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We are a center that recognizes everyone on their spiritual path, and we hope to be a place of great inspiration, thus allowing you to tap into your inherent greatness and to live the life you love. So one of quick housekeeping things, in your brand new program inside, again, a reminder that insert is all yours. Take it home with you. It's got all the details about all the weekly and monthly events that are remaining for this month, excuse me, and you can take that with you. And it's got all the names of all the different people that are going to be in the different organizations or heading up the different organizations in case you want to join. And so I say that because many of those organizations will be represented, as David said, next week. But one of them specifically is having a special meeting next Sunday, and that's the Cancer Survivor Thriver Group. And so I'd like Kathy Daniels to come up and offer that special invitation to you and also an announcement from that group.
Good morning. It's actually in 2 weeks. The next Cancer Survivor Thriver group is on April 12th, and we're going to have a special guest. Now, if any of you are cancer survivors, recent or many years, if you are currently facing treatment or are in treatment, or if you have been a caregiver for someone, we would really like to encourage you to attend. Our beloved Susan Zoller was very close friends with a beautiful lady by the name of Faye Octavia Elliott, and she will be speaking on the 12th of April. Faye was a 3-time cancer survivor, and she very suddenly made her transition last week. The week before she passed, on her blog, which is called mylifeline.org, I encourage you to look at it, she wrote this. She wrote, "I don't believe cancer is a big hairy monster out to kill me. I believe it is a collection of my own body's cells that have somehow gone astray. If my neighbor started acting like acting a little strange, I would not go next door with a blowtorch, tank, and Agent Orange to try and kill him. I would try and figure out how to help him and love him back to health. That is how I feel about my cancer. My job for the rest of my life is just to love this body, every bit of this body with every bit of love I can muster, to do things that bring me joy and to give back." Certainly, if you're not familiar with her, look her up on Facebook or on the internet or her blog, mylifeline.org. Susan was friends with her for 40 years. And she will be sharing her experience of faith as well. So I want to invite all of you to come. You do not have to be a cancer survivor to come. And if you are, you will not be required to share your story. It's all about honoring and celebrating Faye Octavia Elliott, and also supporting our beloved Susan.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Kathy, we honor you as well for your work with that group. And also, Susan, I know that you're in your grieving. We honor Faye because we know she's soaring. So we were going to be moving on. We've got some great stuff happening with our classes. We've got new classes starting on the 1st of April. Tracy Owens is going to come up to tell us about that with Spiritual Living Institute, and then I'll tell you about the live classes right after that.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Hello. I just want to thank each of the March instructors and participants for showing up for the month of March. Greta Counts, Munishwarji Walking Tall, as well as each of the participants. I just want to thank each of you for getting involved in these online courses. I also want to thank the blog writers and the blog readers, the people who are visiting our website and going to the Facebook page and really helping us build that momentum to get the word out about Spiritual Living Institute. I know that each and every one of us want to see this particular online education department really soar, and so it's going to take all of us coming together and really helping spread the word. And so I thank you in advance for your willingness to assist in that way. I also want to thank Chuck LeBay. I don't know if he's here, but if he is, I want to say thank you. He assists us with our website every month. He's assisting with SLCA's website as well as SLI's, and he does things on the back end that none of us ever really see, and he's really been a great support to me in the last few days, and I just want to thank him for that. I want to highlight the two courses that are coming up in April. On April 1st, which is this Wednesday, Cynthia James, many of you know her from Mile High in Colorado. She's a well-known transformation specialist and an awareness coach. She's offering a 4-week online course called Healthy Living for Women. Cynthia says women all around the globe are moving into powerful states of being. They are immersed in sophisticated juggling acts, navigating family, work, friends, and self-care. One of the things that usually take a back seat is self-care. Women are so focused on taking care of others that they tend to put themselves last as a priority. This course is designed to support women in gaining clarity about how they are currently operating and how to shift into healthier lifestyle choices. If as a woman you find it harder to say no to others' requests and you often feel guilty if you are unable to please everyone, or maybe you spend less time nurturing your own emotional and physical needs, fearing that it might be perceived as selfish, this course is for you. I'm seeing people shaking their heads. Yeah, this course is for you, women. During this course, you'll experience a combination of lectures, guided meditations, and personal self-discovery work. You will get real. Explore your boxes, embrace your vulnerability, and set some tangible goals for radical self-care. You can register today for this course, and again, this course begins on Wednesday. And then we also have another course that our treasurer to the board, Lori Palco, is offering. Her course is called Unleash Your Prosperity, Love, Money, Purpose. This online course is designed to support an individual's desire to make a difference and live a more purposeful and prosperous life. It is intended for aspiring entrepreneurs, owners of businesses, and all individuals choosing to live in alignment with their beliefs, intentions, and actions. During this course, you will learn how to address specific areas pertaining to love, money, and purpose. You will evaluate your why. You will create value-driven intentions that serve how you deliver your unique purpose. You'll take inspired action to unleash your prosperity and increase money flow. You'll develop a focused plan, and this is the key part. You will develop a focused plan aligning your beliefs, your intentions, and your actions with Lori's support. You'll be provided all of these practical tools to expand your resources. And as metaphysicians, we all know that money flows to us when we give with loving intention. If you have a desire to expand your own prosperity, your own love, and your own purpose, we invite you to sign up for this course, which begins on April the 6th. And just a reminder, these courses are all asynchronous, meaning that they are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can take these courses anywhere around the globe. We encourage you to visit our website if you haven't already, spirituallivinginstitute.org. I'll be out at the table after service today to answer any questions that you have and also get you registered for these courses. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy. So those are the online classes. We've got two classes that are beginning, the two remaining classes that are going to be rounding out our winter-spring semester. That'll be wrapping itself up. The first of those two classes starts this coming Wednesday. That's with Lane Morgan. It's her abundance class, and she's going to tell us about that. Lane.
Thanks, David. My class starts on Wednesday. We're going to be meeting on Wednesday morning from 9 to 11, note that time, or in the evening from 7 to 9. And this is an 8-week class that is designed to dive a deeper dive into your thoughts and beliefs about money. What were you taught about money? What do you believe about money and abundance in general as well? This will be an opportunity for you to do some practical applications to your own life. So we will be, as I said, studying for 8 weeks together. I will also be in the lobby after the service so that you can ask me questions about this class. You can register, or if you've already registered, if you want to know more about how to prepare for the first meeting on Wednesday, I would love to talk with you in the lobby. So if you spend money, if you have money, if you want a better relationship with money, this class is for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lane. Spend money? Yes. Yes. Yes to all of it. Love it. So that is, like, as I said, the first of the last two classes. The last class that David's going to be offering is Principles of Successful Living. That starts in May the 7th. So those two classes together, a perfect way to round out our semester year. So please see the flyer out there if you want more information, or see Lane. Additionally, today's SLC Youth Program Spring Fling is upstairs. The kids are getting ready as we speak, putting up tables, putting out food. So if you can join us afterwards upstairs in the 4 to 6-year-olds classroom, they would love to have you come up there, meet the teachers, see the stuff they've been up to. So please join the kids and Mary Jane upstairs for the Youth Program Spring Fling. Michael Beck with tickets. As you know, Atlanta Unity is sponsoring that event April 24th and 25th. They extended an offer to us that if we sold tickets here, they would give a percentage back to us. So we're only selling tickets this week and next week, and then they need the tickets back to sell to the general public. And then, so if you are interested in going to that event and want to also support SLCA in doing so, please buy your tickets either today or next Sunday so that we can give the remaining tickets back to them for sale. Also, Easter Sunday, as Reverend David said, very largely attended here. We've got the children's choir. We've got the regular Sound of Light choir. We've got Latanya Sugarlip Shields, who's always a favorite for us. We've got David's talk. We've got the bonnet contest with kids and adults. And we're going to have the tables around, like almost like a social fair, so you can go around to each of the different groups and get information and meet all of them and get a little bit more information about what they do. So that's all happening on Easter Sunday. It's going to be beautiful. I can tell you that right now. So please join us for that. And as Reverend David said, if you can try to space it out and come in the morning and stay over for the bonnet contest, that'll be, as I said, in between services on the runway, aka handicap ramp. So again, I want to ask you all to please shut off any cell phones you might have so we can have a peaceful and meditative time together. And just a show of hands, is there anyone new joining us for the very first time today? If you could raise your hands. Could you stand up so we can welcome you? We have a gift for you. What you're receiving is a CD case that you can redeem at our welcome and visitors table for a talk of Reverend Dr. David Ault, especially selected for you. So something we're doing different today, and new members or new visitors, oh, we got a cell phone. or I'm rolling back the rock again. Jesus is here. So specifically, we're doing something new today, and that is we're recognizing and honoring those people in the first quarter of this year who have become members. So we announced a few of them that were here at the first service. I'm going to read all their names regardless, just so you know who they are and we can welcome them to our community. If I call your name and you are present at this service, if you could step forward, that would be great. We've got Kelly Spurgeon, Maureen Holbrooks, Candace Henry, Mally Lapete, Joe and Jan Labriola, Nishiski Chandler. Yeah, you can come on up. Vito Lianza, Jennifer Earle, Janine Herring, and Linda Pitsolis. As I said, we had several in the last service. We've got these service. Welcome to our community. What we are giving them as a gift, Lane is going to be passing out to you. These are Science of Mind cards that Reverend David gave to all of us when we did an intention setting workshop at the beginning of the year. He did this with all the pledgers and helped us align our intention for the year, and so we want to welcome you officially with that gift as well. I now turn it over to Reverend David.
And we're starting something new with our welcoming our members, so it's kind of like getting married. So are you ready? I want to thank you for your private and your public demonstration of formally choosing Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta as your home. Each of you having adhered to the agreements as offered for membership or aligning with the values that we stand for. And I would love it if you would please answer the following by responding, I will. See, I told you we're getting there. Will you actively seek the path of conscious awareness to devote yourself to the practices of changing your thinking and using spiritual law as a motivator for good in the world? Will you actively seek the path of peace, acknowledging that the power that rests within you carries with it a responsibility to not wait for the world to bring you solution, but for you to be the solution you wish to experience? Will you actively participate in the global vision of our philosophy and of Centers for Spiritual Living, which is to recognize and champion a world that works for everyone? Will our leaders, our staff, our practitioners, anyone on our board, if you would stand, I'm going to ask you also to respond by saying, I will. Will you actively honor these individuals as a part of your spiritual family and live as an example of integrity, support, and high-level value? I will. And now if the rest of you will stand and look at these amazing new members and also respond with I will. Will you welcome these fellow seekers of truth as your friends and your fellow journeymen, recognizing that their struggles and victories are your struggles and victories, that they are a part of you as you are a part of them, therefore honoring them in the energy of oneness? So I, Reverend Dr. David Ault, along with the leadership and the membership of Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, do formally and joyously recognize you as members of this center and of the global Centers for Spiritual Living movement. Peace and blessings. All right. Whew. And if our teens will come, today marks the end of our season for peace and nonviolence. Again, if you look around the room, you will see banners that were been created from years past, and they are ready to unfold. Come on up forward. The banner for 2015. And while they share this banner, our speaker today is from our youth department, Jalen. Come on up. Jalen McLean.
Hi, my name is Jalen McLean. As I stand here today, I would like to talk about peace and nonviolence. Nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. It also seeks to win friendship and understanding. Nonviolence chooses love instead of hate. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, nonviolence believes that the universe is on the side of justice. Also, did you know that in the last 5,600 years, there has only been 292 years of peace? The war has killed 2 million children in the last 20 years because we do not have enough peace in this world. Nonviolence is fine as long as it works. Malcolm X once said, if the world didn't have so much violence and just more peace, our lives would all be better. About 1 in 9 murders were committed by the youth under 18 in 1999. About 5 youths are arrested for murder in this country each day. Also, more than 3 in 5 youth suicides involve firearms. I really hope that we could just have more peace in this world and less violence. Thank you.
So we take it upon ourselves this one last time as we light this candle for this season, Jalen, to honor the spirits of those, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, you, who represent the prototype and the embodiment of peace. And I would just ask you to take a moment as you look at the flame to make your own self-consecration and dedication to being that. Thank you, teens. Thank you, Jalen. And if you would begin to make yourself comfortable, taking everything off of your lap, preparing ourselves for our affirmative prayer into this beautiful sacred space, which this morning will be led by our practitioner, Greta Counts.
Good morning. Let's just take a moment and center ourselves. And take a deep cleansing breath. And with that breath, recognize that there is only one presence. I invite you to still your hearts and to still your minds as you know this truth with me. I will say this treatment in first person. Please take the words for yourself. And this is what I know. I recognize that there is only one power, one life, one source, one energy. And I refer to this energy as spirit and as truth. I refer to it as Christ consciousness. It's the absolute truth, the great divine, the ultimate. And what I know about it is that it is all-knowing, it is all-encompassing, and it is everywhere present. In this moment, I acknowledge that this energy is eternal. It is the beginning and the end. I recognize that it is life eternal. It is everlasting. And as I recognize this, and embrace this idea, I acknowledge that it is tangible and intangible. It is visible and invisible. It sits between the here and now. It is everything and nothing all at the same time. So as I stand here in awesome wonder and acknowledge all that God has made, What I know is that the universe so awesomely displays the beauty of source energy. It is the majesty and the grandeur of the mountains. It is the blossoms and the sweet fragrance of spring. It is the cold air that is blowing today that as winter lingers on. What I know is that everything is energy, and that includes me. We learn in quantum physics that when everything is broken down to its purest, basic, it is energy. And I acknowledge this energy operates in, as, and through me here and now. I accept that I am one with source energy and that my oneness is divine. My existence is divine. So with gratitude for this knowing, with gratitude and thanksgiving, as I acknowledge my connection to Source, I am ever grateful. I now release my words, and as I do, I release them into God's perfect law, and know that my words shall not return to me void. I choose to express life with great energy, knowing that I am connected to the only energy there is. Together, let us join together and know this truth. And together we say, and so it is.
With every prayer, I bring the heart of God. I bring the love of God through me. With every prayer, I bring the heart of God. I bring the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christine Job, and I am part of the young adult, young professional group here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I just wanted to thank David Aurelio. Okay. And anyone else? Okay. And of course, Reverend David, for giving the young adults the opportunity to book the talent that you guys have hopefully enjoyed during the season of peace and nonviolence. Today, in the conclusion, we have a very special treat that you guys have already seen and heard, the Twin Soul Poets, individually Hamilton Graziano and Ingrid Ali. And I want to tell you a little bit more about them. So Hamilton Graziano is a self-published author from Richmond, Virginia, where he operated as slam master for Slam Nawaddle, a nationally competing slam poetry team that finished 10th at the National Poetry Slam in 2012, and was also honored as the sole recipient out of 72 teams of the Spirit of the Slam Award, recognizing the team with the most positive and uplifting presence throughout the week of competition. Hamilton spent 2013 teaching English in Thailand and has recently moved to Atlanta. He is hoping to help integrate the power of spoken word poetry into the schools, collaborating with Evolve Atlanta's Victor Love to bring his vision to life very soon. His first book of poetry, Good Clear Sound, is available on Amazon.com and also on their merch table outside. Ingrid Ali is an up-and-coming actress, also from Richmond, Virginia, who is currently building a name and resume for herself in the booming Atlanta film industry. She graduated magna cum laude from Point Park University, where she earned a degree in the performing arts. She has performed professionally as an actor on the stage and screen. She moved to Atlanta, Georgia in 2013 to further pursue her acting career. She continues to hone her craft at this esteemed acting studio, Evolve Atlanta. She has burst onto the slam poetry scene with such poems as Girl on Fire, performing as a featured poet at several well-known venues in Atlanta, and currently gaining many views and followers on social media and YouTube. They both have a new book called Twin Souls, and it is a collection of correspondences and poems shared with each other while Hamilton was in Thailand, and they are currently actively searching for literary representation. So if you know someone, let them know. Without further ado, Twin Soul Poets.
Thank you again for allowing us to be here, sharing with you in this space. It just feels so good to be amongst the audience that is so. When I said I'm inviting you to be an active audience, I thought y'all were gonna repeat my whole poem. I was like, never had this happen. But I love it. It just feels so wonderful to be swimming in this energy in here. So we wrote this piece about, it was inspired by a documentary that we saw called The Loving Story. And it's very appropriate for this season of peace and nonviolence because it is a true story of a couple in Virginia in the 50s who were just two very simple, humble people that wanted to stay married, and that determination just to trust in the love that they shared ended up having huge ripple effects across the country and becoming a national Supreme Court case.
And also I would say we related to that because they were an interracial couple, as obviously we are as well. And there are just a lot of kind of synchronicities and things that just we couldn't ignore that seemed to line up with their story and our story. And I'd also like to say Mildred Loving, she was actually lived a lot longer than her husband did. But she was quoted saying towards the end part of her life that she supported love for all people, for all races, for all genders. That gay, lesbian, transgender. I mean, she spoke all of that. And as someone coming from a time, people say, oh, we're from this time, they can't understand. It's not true. I mean, she had such an open heart and availability because she was amidst a lot of challenge against, what was just so natural to them. So I just wanted to speak to that and honor her for her commitment to equality.
So this is for them, for Richard and Mildred Loving. Almighty God created the races white, black, yellow, Malay, and red. And he placed them on separate continents. And but for the interference with his arrangement, there would be no cause for such marriages. The fact that he placed them on separate continents proves that he did not intend for the races to mix. Virginia, 1958.
The black and white headline seemed ironic. Loving's arrested for illegal marriage.
Who is this colored woman next to you?
I'm his wife. The unwitting confession of a crime. Forced from their beds at 2 a.m.
Clean white sheets.
Took on a dark new meaning.
In direct violation of the Racial Integrity Act.
The Lovings went from newlyweds to felons in a matter of seconds. A honeymoon in a holding cell.
If loving different shades of melanin makes us felons, then where did my crime begin? I remember when we locked eyes for the first time. One day at the racetrack, I pulled my head out from under the hood long enough to catch you staring.
When we first met, I didn't like him, you know. He was arrogant. But I got to know him, and he was a very nice person.
My heart got to revving louder than that supercharged engine. Ain't no sense even considering race when your heart racing like that. Like there ain't no worse such thing. No time to consider 'em. No time at all, really. Just them eyes and that roaring heart ready to race down any road that leads to you. I never knew that road would take us to the Supreme Court. I never gave a damn about what people consider to be civil or right. I just love my wife. You just tell them I love my wife.
I didn't know we were breaking any laws. Didn't know that a day trip wedding to Washington would become 9 years of trying to get back home. I never imagined I'd be sneaking back to visit my mother for Christmas so that my children would become evidence in a trial.
It is not infrequent that the children of intermarried parents are referred to not merely as the children of intermarried parents, but as the victims of intermarried parents, or as the martyrs of intermarried parents.
Feeling like we might as well have been sentenced when the cinder block walls of D.C. felt like a prison to me. I couldn't stand it, being forced to live a life in the shadows with a man who was truly the light of my life. I had to do something. I wrote a letter to Mr. Robert Kennedy. I told him that it's the law that's the problem. I don't think it's right.
The power of love cannot be underestimated.
Their marriage forced any opponents to contradict themselves each time they spoke their last name.
In an act of true integrity, two young and ambitious lawyers peeled back the laws that protected supremacy, arguing that the dignity of love is a universal right.
We have some enemies, but we have some friends too.
After a 9-year battle, it took only one day for all 9 Supreme Court justices to rule unanimously that anti-miscegenation laws were unconstitutional, ending the ban on interracial marriage in 15 other states.
This poem is for the Lovings, who didn't ask for a historic fight for civil rights.
But her offhand living room comment proved prophetic.
Maybe it'll help others too.
Now, the state motto reads true. Virginia is for lovers.
We're two lovers from Virginia, and we've never had to fight for that.
So to Richard
and Mildred,
may you go on loving one another forever.
And for all the trials that you went through, thank you.
It was many months ago that the Kinetic Ascent group put on an evening of music and beautiful poetry, and I remember sitting back over there and I watched that piece, and I was deeply moved. And I said to Dana, who was organizing this, and to Penelope, I said, I want that to be the piece that closes this season. So thank you so much for being here with us. So how timely, how perfect as we watch history repeat itself. History repeats itself. History repeats itself. History repeats itself. And why is that so? I think as we become students of truth, not just from concept but from embodiment, we start to understand why history repeats itself. Because there is a great deal of those who walk and breathe upon our planet who are still not familiar with or understanding of the consequence of what we call law. And I'm not talking about man-made law, I'm talking about spiritual law. Spiritual law, which is the very foundation of not just this philosophy, but ancient wisdom. It is the words that have been spoken by wise sages throughout time that told us, as above, so below, as within, so without. As a man thinketh, so he is. It is done unto us as we believe. What we think of today creates our tomorrow. All of those things, all of those phrases, all of those sentiments are not just words. They are descriptions of what is spiritual law. And we start to understand that it's not just a motto, it's not just a bumper sticker philosophy, but that it is actually the energy and the essence of all of creation. And so I was reminded this week of that motto, if not now, when? And I love that because it's sort of a wake-up call that friends or the universe gives us. It holds a mirror to our face in order for us to begin to examine about the things that we talk and say that we want to do, but never really integrate in action and go and do them. And so, if not now, when is a beautiful motivator. It's a kick in the pants to remind us of all of the infinite possibilities that the world beholds for us. And that it is our responsibility to go and meet that dream rather than to wait for the dream to come and to meet us. But if not now, when is also a beautiful and sobering reminder of something else as well. And that is our relationship and our responsibility to law. And moving away from the concept and the verbiage of it to actually going into a pathway of self-inquiry and saying to ourselves and examining, where am I and to what degree have I devoted myself to a life surrounded by the application and the practice of spiritual law? Which teaches me that the world of effect is exactly that. It is effect. But the effect has its origin in something called mind. Mind meaning the receptacle of thought. Thought meaning the energy and the essence of our devotion, of our core beliefs. And that if I want a different effect in the world, I do not go and battle the effect, but what I do is I go into the inner recesses of my mind and I examine what it is that I'm actually thinking. And knowing that in order for that change to become evident, as our founder Ernest Holmes said, to change your thinking, to change your life, it's not the other way around. But that I must first start in mind in order to be aware of and to see the difference and to go and meet the difference that I know already exists. And as I began to look at all of the things that make up my world, my job, my travel, my self-care, my spiritual practice, my relationships, all of those things are an effect. And the quality of all of those things have their origin in cause, in mind. And there's something that is quite profound if we can wrap our heads around it when we enter into that world of effect on a daily basis, and it is this: the events themselves have no meaning. The events themselves have no meaning. It is the belief that we attach to those events that instill the meaning. And if you and I are to become the absorption of spiritual law, then you will begin to understand the profundity of that meaning and that statement. It is not the events themselves that have meaning. It is the beliefs that we have attached to them that instill the meaning. So the law then becomes a litmus test of our spiritual character. Our spiritual character then influences our physical and our emotional character. And I remember decades ago, several of the notables within this New Thought movement saying this, that the law never changes, not even for a special occasion. And oh, the special occasions that I personally have thought, the law doesn't apply to this. This is terrible. That person is hideous. This circumstance is beyond my control. Meaning that what I have tried to do is lift myself and separate myself from the influence of law. But as the philosopher Thomas Troward continuously reminded us, and that is that the law is inescapable. Any of you tried to run away from the law? I fought the law, and the law won. The law is constant. It's irrefutable. It never changes, not even for a special occasion. So I want to call to you some special occasions that exist just in our world news today. A little state called Indiana. And I want to remind you that what is going on there is an effect. an effect. Fear of death. You either have an expectancy that repels or attracts that. Your work in the world, your creativity, the way in which that is received, you either have an expectancy that repels or attracts that. And so when we begin to look at conditions and effects, you can start to see how much of our day-to-day life is so wrapped up in trying to mend the effect. And so, for example, when you start to think about those things, what is a diagnosis? Is it a cause or is it an effect? It is an effect. So to try and go to remedy a diagnosis is like trying to remedy the effect without changing the thought that contributed to the diagnosis to begin with. Dollars in your bank account, is that a cause or an effect? It's an effect. Friendship or the lack thereof, is that a cause or is it an effect? And so if we're hungering for friendship, hungering for that, we have to first go back in mind and to see what belief system do I have about people. If in there is, God, I can't stand people, be my friend. Then I think we will have a perpetual challenge. And our expectancy will always be met with restriction. Your house or your apartment or wherever it is that you dwell, is that particular space a cause or is it an effect? It is an effect. If you are unpleased with that, then you can't try to continue to board and mend and paste and rearrange and paint unless you first go back to the cause and find a deep reverence and a sacredness for your sanctuary. And it doesn't matter how much you go into Home Goods and spend to decorate things. If you still have a repulsion about that space,
or some energy upon that, it will never be remedied. It will never be enough. A degree. What is a degree? Is it a cause or an effect? It's an effect. But if you're thinking the degree is going to be the thing that brings you respect and notoriety, you have another thing coming. Because it doesn't matter how many titles you have after your name. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Stimulating and well-paid work. Is that a cause or an effect? It's an effect. But if you continue showing up with some grudge on your shoulder as big as dynasty shoulder pads, and every time you walk into that, you have this resistance, this disenfranchisement about the world owes you something, but you're wanting that respect back from other people, that is an effect. And if you haven't changed the cause, then nothing will change. Respect, is that a cause or an effect? It's both. To the degree that you choose respect and cultivate respect within you is the effect of respect that the world will mirror back to you. Here's one, diversity. Is diversity a cause or an effect? It's an effect. I got interviewed this week about why we're so successful in our diversity. And I said, you're not going to like my answer. Because there's no formula to that. We didn't sit down and do a demographic and say, oh my God, okay, we got to go get more of them and bring them in. That's not diversity to me. One of the spiritual laws says that whatever it is that you praise multiplies. Whatever it is, have you ever had someone come to you and say, great job? Cellularly, something comes alive within you because you have been praised. And so the law says whatever you praise expands. And so if you're wanting something and an experience of something that's more multicultural and more diverse, you praise what it is you have, and then by law, guess what happens? Diversity continues. And the ripple effect of that happens, and it magnetizes that to you. You can't go out and manufacture that. You can try, but it's manufactured. So, discrimination, cause or effect? It's an effect. When we own the fact that we are students of truth, and that this beautiful law knows nothing of effect other than the relevance and the energy that we give it, that's when it abides and it honors and it says yes to whatever it is that you claim as your own. We have to look within and see where we discriminate self. Again, where we show up with this essence of disenfranchisement that has been spoon-fed to us by generations of the people that we have surrounded ourselves by. And at what point does it stop becoming an identifier with who you are? If we then are to be the change agent and to invoke the change agent, we must arm ourselves not with tools and weapons and sharp language and aggression, but we arm ourselves with mind and thought that tells us that as we absorb an expectancy of good, then good is ours. I don't need anyone to tell me that I'm equal. I don't need a state to tell me that I'm equal. I'm equal. You don't need some outside effect to tell you that you are worthy. You are worthy. Stand in that. Own that. Become loyal to that. And stop wasting so much energy at trying to fight the effect. And begin to notice that this truth, this principle, this teaching, this philosophy, this ancient wisdom is echoing that throughout the lineage of people who will listen. And it is reverberating and showing great and amazing strides. You just hear the bad stuff. But there's great stuff that is wanting to magnetize itself and bring itself to your personal awareness, but it can't if you are so caught up in all of the lingo and all of the separatism and all of the stagnation that is a part of the expectancy of restriction. And so I turn to the words of our amazing founder, Ernest Holmes. And I will add to this that this season for peace and nonviolence is a call for us to understand that nonviolence isn't just in physical action. It's in also eradicating the retaliation of thought that you and I carry in our minds towards other people. Let me say that again. Season for peace and nonviolence isn't about just physical action. It's about eradicating the retaliation of thought that you and I carry in our minds towards other people. So Ernest wrote in these preambles that are in the beginning of the Science of Mind textbook, in the last preamble, which is called, by the way, How to Use It, meaning the instructions for our use of law, he said, while it is true that wrong conditions exist, they could not remain unless there were someone to experience them. What? Did you hear that? While it appears, and it is the reality of those people who are invested in effect, while it is true that wrong conditions exist, they could not remain unless there were someone who wanted to hang around and experience them. Consequently, the experience then must be in consciousness. Change the consciousness, and the false condition will disappear. Conditions are not entities. We are entities. Cannot that which is conscious cast out that which has no consciousness? Is that not why we are here? And as he goes through describing what truth is, he summarizes it by saying that at this point of realization, you and I meet a friend who immediately begins a tale of woe about hard times and bad business conditions, etc. And should he listen to this tale of the serpent, might this person be reversed in his previous affirmations and make negative his formal mental and spiritual concept? This does not mean that he should refuse to hold conversation with people for fear that they will neutralize the position which he has taken in mind, but that he should refuse mentally to accept the false position. Then he can talk with anyone and not be disturbed. Do you get that the path of self-awareness and expansion and consciousness is not about climbing up on the mantle of the mountain away from everyone else and staring at your navel and oming for the rest of your life? But it's that you take that experience and you bring it down into the density of this world of effect, because that's where you need it. That's where consciousness is hungry. That's where you and I get to practice this and to show up into that world of effect and see it for what it is. So expectancy is a muscle. The development of the expectancy of good is much like unfoldment. And when you and I see a beautiful rose in its bud state, you don't sit there and worry and become concerned about whether or not it's going to open. You don't have an intervention program for it, whereby a coach of rosebuds stand around and say, come on now, you can do it. Come on now. Open up. Open up. Be the best rose that you can be. The innate intelligence of the rose does what? It unfolds. Just as the innate intelligence of you wants to do what? Unfold. Except when you become so wrapped up in effect that you go back into the bud of restriction and you do not live the purpose that you came here to live. You are destined and designed for unfoldment. Unfoldment, which means evolution, which is different from creation. Creation, by definition, is all that has already been. It is timeless. It is birthless and deathless. It has no origin. It just is. It is the envelopment of all thought. Everything has already been created. Evolution is when you and I go and dip into that which is creation. And you and I then take that information and we go from here to here in mind. That is your evolution. And that's what you and I are supposed to do. That is the unfoldment. You and I are supposed to evolve. Remember a couple of months ago? Evolve already. Unfold already. What is this? What is this? Every single time some news item sparks something within us and we close ourselves. You and I are destined to unfold, to begin to take these practices and to begin to use them. This week, one night I had a dream all the way through the night. I was half awake and half asleep, and all the dream was the repetition of a quote. The quote just kept going through my mind, and I thought, I don't know what this quote is. It must be something I read. You know, maybe it's Emerson, maybe it's Troward, maybe it's Holmes. I don't know what it is, but it just kept going on all night long, and I kept saying, I'll get up and I'll write it down. I'll get up and I'll remember this because, man, God, it won't leave me alone. I don't remember the quote. But I remember 2 words of the quote. And the 2 words of the quote, which obviously was the only thing that I was supposed to remember, was dogged determination. I've never used that term before in my life. Dogged determination. Something within the realm of the subconscious was saying, David, dogged determination. And so I Googled dogged determination to see what famous person had this quote. Jeb Bush came up. Some guy who built a bridge somewhere was describing all of the analytics that went into the dogged determination it took to create this bridge. I went, no, that wasn't it. There wasn't one quote other than that other one. So I just looked at the word for the essence of the words. And it, like everything else, has 2 sides. The negative side being so stubborn in your attachment to effect that you're unwilling to change your expectancy for good. And the other that I know is the essence of that dream, was to become so doggedly determined in being the vessel of law that you will finally, once and for all, lay down your stupid, petty excuses of why you can't do something and get out there and do it. That's what the world needs. So one quote did come up just based upon determination, and it was from Calvin Coolidge. And he said, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education alone will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Exactly. Pressing on. Pressing on is to walk into the effect. To walk into the effect. Knowing that it has little to no relevance other than the relevance that you give it. Let me remind you that every single facet of your life is at choice. Every single one. I know you want to hold one of them in a category of special occasion. I know that you do, because I do. I love this stuff. I'm absorbed in this stuff. But you don't know about my love handles. There's something there that you are holding separate from the law. And I'm here to remind you today and to remind myself that everything is inescapable of law. If you want it, it is there. If you want to find relevance and meaning in your life, the relevance and meaning already exists. And so let us collectively pick ourselves up and begin to march towards the creation of our own mental capacity and cooperation, and be expectant of a willing and receptive world, a world that is working for every single one, and that means you. And so it is. So Dana, come on up. This woman, amazing, amazing woman, I won't call her a young adult, she's just an adult younger than me, is leaving tomorrow for Ghana. So what will you take with you? Oh.
A camera. I am so grateful for the way that the center has really transformed my life. When I first got here, I look at how I thought about life, what I thought I could do, and I saw the limits that I was placing on myself. And just being a part of the teaching and engaging in this family and this spiritual community has caused me to open up tremendously. And I'm doing things that I never imagined I could do. And I'm so grateful for that. Thank you. So please join me in the affirmation for grateful giving. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I just want to say thank you again to Dana, because she has spearheaded all of the wonderful talent and music that you've heard over the season of Peace and Nonviolence. Basically, she should be like a professional talent booker. So someone give her a job or something. Also, part of Kinetic Ascent and Kinetic Ascent's unfoldment is greatly due to Dana. She is a powerful demonstrator and manifester, and I've told her this many times that, I know we cried yesterday, why are we crying now? That for me, having her in my life has helped me in my unfoldment. When I was tight in a bud, and she is also, we call her the spiritual gangster, because, I mean, she'll tell you, your truth, but she'll say it in like a real gangster way, and you'll be like, okay. She keeps it real, and
this, and it's just as easy to switch from one to the other in every moment. But feels really open in here to this morning. I keep wanting to say tonight.
It's been a long night for you.
Yeah, I drove a lot.
So this is our final piece, and thank you because this is an exchange. We're not just performing for you. I mean, it's so, just feels so good, and I'm so grateful. So when we came together first with the idea of Twin Soul Poets, we came up with the idea of collaborating some works and things we'd already done. I'd been doing some poetry and writing my own, but I kept it in stacks and stacks of journals, and I didn't share, and Hamilton encouraged me to share that. And so we came up with the idea of kind of taking things we already had sometimes and putting them together to get something new. In this case, we wanted to take music and fuse it with something Hamilton had already written. So when I was thinking, coming up with the song, Ricky Byers-Beckwith came to mind, which I'm sure many of you know who she is, with Michael Beckwith, his wife, and she's an amazing musician. So this piece is hers, so I just wanted to acknowledge that. And yeah. As you show me all that I must do, use me.
Sing from your toes, and let your good intentions dance into the minds of those all around you. Spreading your smile like the sun's sleepy stretch of first light rays racing across the horizon at dawn. The roar of a yawning God, awakened and enlightened, rise from your slumber every day like that rolling ball of fire, spinning and spitting out prayers for the day, burning away the shadows of yesterday's fears. You are alive. Now is the address at which eternity resides. So sing good morning to all those you meet and mean it. Focus on your words and send true blessings with each one. Think positivity and you will speak it. Speak positivity and you will become it. Think, speak, be love. Love is a path, and we are those who walk the path. Dancing with destiny means we cannot die unless we are supposed to, and that knowledge makes us fearless. Tolerance for pain peerless because it only makes me stronger. And this is not me saying that I'm any better than you. We all come from the same source. I am no greater, no less. We all have broken, beating hearts playing sweet, sad music within our chests. We all go back to the same home where we lay down to rest, whether in dreaming or in death. We are blessed to share in each other's pain. When we truly connect, we can forget each other's names. Finding that silence of the nameless is good for your health, so let go today. Don't say a single word the next time you pray, and just listen to the beautiful, sweet nothings that the universe has to say.
Remain standing. Thank you so much. If our practitioners will come forward. What a rich day. A rich and bountiful day. As our practitioners come forward, I invite you to think about your own personal unfoldment. Allow them to do a prayer, an affirmative prayer of the truth of who and what you are. Please show your love outside to Twin Soul Poets, and let us sing our closing song together.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so
love you so much. Have a great weekend, everybody.